we're honored to have Mr. Taylor speak to us today from Lakeland, Florida via Skype. In addition, Mr. Taylor is working with our partnership with business team, consisting of Kyle Blakesley, Rachel Dole, and myself, Kayla Sharps, to educate the community about the benefits and hidden dangers of social media. Casey Taylor started his career in the creative field 10 years ago while in school. Now, as the creative director and senior partner at Crescendo Public Relations, Casey consults with brands such as the New York Yankees, Neiman Marcus department stores, the Jonas Brothers, and the Imperial Symphony Orchestra. In addition to his responsibilities at Crescendo, as marketing concept lead for Madden Branded Goods, Casey serves top brands by developing marketing strategies to take campaigns to the next level. Working alongside the LA Lakers, Publix Supermarket, Compassion International, and Orchid Pest Control, Casey often finds himself in interesting situations. Concerned with today's generation, Casey also serves as the program director for Culture Rock, an organization devoted to equipping, connecting, and encouraging youth to rock the culture around them by standing up for what they believe in. Most of all, though, Casey enjoys giving puppet shows to cars next to him at red lights. Please welcome Casey Taylor.
Hello. Hello. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Yeah. Okay, good. The camera's up here, but my laptop's down here, and so it's kind of a weird thing. Normally we do this at my other office, but we're here today in the think tank at Madden Branded Goods. This is where we bring customers, sit them down, have brilliant people on the wall, and we try to think of what it is that we can do for them, provide solutions, etc. So I'm coming to you from Lakeland, Florida. Honestly, I prefer to do this kind of thing in person, live, but just because of the way it worked out with timing and things, I have to do it via Skype, and I apologize for that because I would much prefer to be there with you guys today, but we'll make do. So today your team has asked me to talk about social networking and the ramifications thereof, both positive and negative. And I understand that I'm talking to middle schoolers and high schoolers, community leaders, faculty, staff, etc. So we're going to kind of cover a wide gamut of it. I don't have a PowerPoint because we're on Skype, so we're just going to kind of talk through it. I'm not here really to give you a lecture or give you a speech. I just kind of want to talk through my experiences with it and what's going on. And I want to start out by asking you guys, and I've looked down at the computer, how many of you have Facebook? Just raise your hand. Facebook. Okay, so everyone in the room. How many of you have checked Facebook in the last 24 hours? Okay, how many of you have Facebook on your phone? Okay, how many of you have checked Facebook since you've been at school today? Yeah, alright, so I think it's safe to say that if you're on Facebook, you're on Facebook. You know, there are exceptions to that rule, but if you are a member of the Facebook community, then you're checking it often, you're looking at it often, and the content that's on Facebook is driven to you often. And what happens is, when we're there so much, we become so familiar with it, and we start getting accustomed to being on it and seeing everyone's information, that we kind of get this entitlement that all information that anyone produces is ours all the time. And there's something that I want to challenge you with, and that is, they call it social media, social networking, and that word there, social, is important. Because everything you do in social networking has to do with people. It's real people saying real things, doing real things, broadcasting it to the world, and sometimes that's lost. And I think there's this illusion of like a wall around you when you're on the internet, when you're on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, protecting you, saying that only the people that you want to see it can, and only the friends that you accept their friend requests can read what you're writing and see what you're taking pictures of. But really, in reality, what you're writing on the internet is written in ink. And so it's important to stay accountable for what you're writing. There was a story in Kansas City last November, and I don't know, how many of you heard of Emma Sullivan? Emma Sullivan, okay, Kayla. All right, so Emma was a high school senior at Kansas City. She was tweeting, she's on a visit to the state capitol, and she was tweeting while she was in the state capitol about the governor, and it said, quote, "Just made mean comments at Governor Brownback and told him he sucked in person," and then she did a hashtag that I can't repeat. Now what happened on that trip was somebody read the tweet, told her principal, the principal notified the governor's office, and all of a sudden the governor's office is up in arms about everything that's going on. They want an apology letter written, they want all these things, because in the state capitol, Emma Sullivan wrote this tweet in jest. And the news story on CNN goes like this: Emma was with her friend, there was an inside joke about all the things that Brownback was doing. They were joking about it, she tweeted it out to all of her followers, not thinking that one of those followers would be offended by what she said, and all of a sudden she gets back to school the next day, and there's a letter from the governor's office, or she's called in the principal's office, and he's like, damage control, we need to take care of this, blah, 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 yada, yada, and she's forced to write a letter to the governor of apology, due the following Monday. Now what happens is now there's this big legal battle, because is it free speech, is it not, is it defamation of the governor, is it not, what's the First Amendment right, what can we do to protect it, we don't want to get sued, yada, yada, yada. So the whole thing goes back and forth between the school district and the governor's office, and resolution comes when the governor says, you know what, I think we're all overreacting, she doesn't need to write an apology, it's free speech, we're going to encourage that. The statement made by the school board was, the issue has resulted in many teachable moments concerning the use of social media. Now all of that, this huge thing, government dollars spent, time wasted, because one student on a field trip tweeted one thing that was an inside joke with her friends. Now, I seem to think that's kind of ridiculous, because I don't think that an inside joke should be taken that seriously. But the problem is, Emma broadcasted it out to everyone on the internet. 600 million people on Twitter, and any of them could have read what she wrote. Now, people think that they protect their profile and they're protected, that no one's going to read what they write. But I think I really want to challenge you to remember that it is social media. Okay, so think with me the most controversial thing you've ever written on your Facebook. Get it in your mind. It could be insulting someone, it could have been talking about something you've done, it could have been anything like that. Just think about that one status that you wrote that maybe you shouldn't have. Now imagine yourself in a cafeteria at lunch, standing on a table in the middle of the room, and yelling out any of those statuses that you wrote on Facebook. Now, somehow there's a disconnect for us that what's safe on Facebook is safe everywhere, and so we just write it, we just post it, we just tweet it, we just do it, but I want you to remember two things. One, social media is social, so it's about people, and two, the internet is written in ink. You can't take it back. You can delete the tweet, you can delete the post, but you don't know who's copied and pasted it, you don't know where it is, and Facebook keeps an archive of everything you write, even if you delete it. Which means that employers like me, if you work for my firm, Crescendo, I have a service that if I can prove that you're on my payroll, I pay this service, and I can look at anything you write on Facebook, whether or not your profile is protected. Why? Because 47% of employers troll social media. So think back to the things you're writing. You went to this party last weekend, and in Florida, people are already in their bathing suits. We're already having pool parties and stuff. Today the high is 80. So already these things are happening. People are getting drunk on the weekends. High schoolers are going out drinking in their bathing suits at a pool, taking pictures of it. Woo, senior year, can't wait. And put it on the internet. The school resource officer catches it. The principal's told they get suspended, blah, 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 blah. So I don't think you're having pool parties there because, it's like 32 there today, but think about what you did recently that you posted on the internet. Now, would you take those pictures, keep an album of them, and every single person you talked to, show it to? You went to dinner at your grandmother's, you were in the principal's office, you were hanging out with your teacher after the bell rang, whatever it is, and you're like, oh, look what I've done Friday night. Here's the photo album. Essentially what you're doing when you go on Facebook and post those pictures is you're showing everyone everything you're doing, including the people who employ you. Now I've got some statistics here. 47% of employers troll Facebook. 53% say they will fire people because of provocative or inappropriate images, meaning you post a picture of something you're doing on a weekend, you post a picture of a joke, you post a picture of a poster that's inappropriate. If your employer doesn't like it, it's a will to work state in Florida, which means that any employer can just fire you for no reason, and you can quit for no reason. It's kind of an equal opportunity thing. And so if you write anything on Facebook, if you tweet anything, if you post any picture or any video on YouTube that your employer doesn't like, they can fire you. And 53% say they will if they feel it's inappropriate. 44% say that they will fire someone for discovering that they are drinking or using illegal drugs. Now, everyone in this room, with the exception of a few, so I shouldn't say everyone, most of the people in this room are not of age to drink, which means if you take a picture of a party with a red Solo cup in your hand and it's assumed that that's alcohol, if you go out and do something and there's a picture of someone doing something behind you that the law may not agree with, you can be fired for it. You can also not be hired in the first place. 35% will say no and fire you because you're bad-mouthing your previous employer or coworkers. So why would I hire you if you were going to bad-mouth your previous employer? What would stop you from doing that to me? Nothing. 29% say that you show poor communication skills. So now we're getting into the realm of you've submitted a job application to me to work for Crescendo, maybe an intern, entry level, whatever, and I go on your Facebook. Why? Because I can. You've written it out there, it's public domain, there's no law saying I can't. And so I go on your Facebook, and I see that you say, rather than Y-O-U, you use the letter U, and rather than saying T-O for 2, you put the number 2. Why would I hire someone who can't even use 2 extra keystrokes to write what they're saying on Facebook? Most likely you're going to make a fool of yourself, and you're going to make a fool of me as your employer. Now, all of this is a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. It's a bunch of words and statistics that really mean nothing. But this is the real challenge, and this is the real thing that I want to kind of talk to you about today. I get paid to manage the image of brands after they've messed up, most of the time. It's called crisis communication. Taco Bell, it happened with them when everyone found out their beef wasn't beef, that it was actually oats and sand and soil and all these other things. And so they had to hire a PR firm to come in and paint this new picture of Taco Bell that everyone would be okay eating. Another client of mine is a nonprofit organization, the executive director of which went on Twitter and started slamming the entire board of the organization after he had been asked to leave. We get hired to come in and try to put, kind of not really cover anything up, but give the full picture of what happened. Rest assured that the stakeholders of the nonprofit can rest at night knowing that everything's taken care of, everything's good. The point of my firm is to come in and help a company who has been shed in poor light. And now with Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all those things, the process of that defamation has accelerated so quickly that now it could take one tweet like Emma Sullivan's, it could take one Facebook post, it could take one video on YouTube to ruin someone's reputation. Now 10 years ago when I got into this business, it took a news story, it took a newspaper article, a magazine article, it took something of substantial time to create and develop. We got wind of it before it came out. We could start working on a strategy, yada, 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 and that's what they paid us for, to kind of help when that thing was released, blah, blah, blah. I say that because of this. You now have the power to save or destroy any company's brand. And the reason is because 600 million people sit with their smartphones every day, and they check Facebook, they see what's being posted, they see what's being read, and you have the power to influence that social network, that ring of people. Now, if you have the power to destroy someone like the governor of Kansas to the point where his staffers write you a letter, get you called into the principal's office, you get in all of this trouble, then how much power do you think that you have for your own image? If you think about it, employers are watching what you're doing on Facebook, your parents are watching what you're doing on Facebook, your friends are watching what you're doing on Facebook, everyone you know knows what you're doing because you're doing it on Facebook. The same power that can destroy a major brand like Taco Bell can destroy you. And so I just want to ask you something. Are you being intentional with it? Are you being intentional about what you're writing on the internet about yourself? Are you being intentional about what you're reading on the internet about other people? Are you filtering what you say? Are you taking 2 minutes to think about what you want to say before you post it? Are you going through the motions of recognizing that there are things that should not be said to 600 million people? Because the same power that destroyed Taco Bell a couple years ago with the whole meat fiasco is the power that's harnessed for you. Now, flip side, you can easily destroy your life with social media, yada, yada, yada. Internet is the enemy, blah, blah, blah. Computers are disgusting. We should filter them, censor them, take down Wikipedia, blah, 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 whatever. But the same tool that brands now hire me to use 10 years later to build their brand, to put them on Twitter, put them on Facebook, get people to like them, get people to follow them, get people to talk about them, etc., you now have the same power to do about yourself. 3 years ago, there was a specific person, a specific client that I really, really wanted to work with. I really wanted to be a part of his team. I really wanted to help him with something he was doing. And so I started following on Twitter. I started talking to him. I started finding out what he liked, etc., etc. Then I started tweeting about things that he liked. He followed me back. We started talking on Twitter. He saw my Flickr, where my photos were that I had taken. That moved to being friends on Facebook, that turned to emailing turned to phone calls, and all of a sudden, 3 months later, I'm being hired on a retainer that lasts a year, during which I met amazing people, I did amazing things. All because that man was on Twitter, I clicked follow, and I started listening. That's all I did. I didn't have any clout. He didn't know me. We didn't have any mutual friends. Nothing happened that was special. I didn't pull any strings or use any connections. The point was that he was on social media, I was on social media, and if you use it like people should, then two people can connect on it. It isn't, at that point, about 0.6 billion people all on one website. It's about two people being connected from 800 miles away, talking about things they like, discovering they want to work together, and then boom, it happens. So I just want to ask you, what is it that you're doing on the internet? Are you Emma Sullivan? Are you saying things about the government, getting a big freedom of speech rally together? Are you making a bunch of noise? Are you making a bunch of drama? Are you wrestling each other's feathers? What is it that you're doing? Girls, on Friday night, are you checking in on Facebook every single place you're going? Like, at the movies, haha, yay! At De Casa, or La Casa de Rachel for a sleeping party, sleepover, whatever. Are you telling everyone everything that you do on Facebook, or are you actually thinking about it? Now, one person in the audience, tell me how often you check Facebook per day. Somebody, raise your hand. Somebody, raise your hand. You there in the front row, curly blonde hair? Is that a North Face jacket? Okay. How often do you check Facebook per day? 3 times? When? Okay, who's your best friend? Is that Becky? Does Becky know you say well, Jenna? Well, sorry, Jenna. Okay, so how often do you talk with Becky? Like how often? How often every day? Am I making you nervous? Yeah. Sorry. Jenna, pass the microphone to Jenna. Are you saying no, no? I'm 1,500 miles away. There's nothing I can do to you. How often do you check Facebook every day? 6 times. How many? Who's your best friend? Becky's popular. Go for Becky. All right. How often do you talk to Becky every day? Like, give me a number. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's just say like 5 or 6 times, right? Okay. So throughout the day, you know, whatever, you're like laying in bed talking about what Tommy said to you in the hallway at your locker, and you want to punch him in the face, but you couldn't because your coach would suspend you. Blah blah blah. Okay, got it. So every other hour, if you're awake for 12 hours, let's just say every other hour you talk to 600 million people. And you read what 600 million people have to say. The same amount of time you talk to one person. Now, I think it's interesting that your best friend in the world, well, no, let's not say that, you have a lot of friends, right? Okay, so Becky, very popular friend, that everyone's, is anyone not friends with Becky in that room? I guess if I raise your hand, like, I hate her, no, don't do that. Okay, so, bad call. So every other hour during the day, you talk to your friend Becky, and every other hour during the day, you talk to 600 million people on the internet. Does anything seem skewed about that to you? Yeah, okay. Well, no, we're all addicted. Listen, I've gotten 3 notifications since I've been on Skype. Don't worry about it. It's okay, this isn't like Facebook Anonymous. My name's Casey, and I'm addicted to Facebook. Okay, so the point is that you spend the same amount of time on the internet reading what? When's the last time you checked Facebook, Jenna? Okay, and what are 3 things that you read that you remember? Oh, isn't that depressing? You're going to sleep for 8 hours and you get up and you think someone could do something, like a picture, comment on something, badmouth you and forget that they tagged you in the status, whatever, I don't know. Okay, so when's the next time you'll check Facebook? Or like during your next class when you have your phone under the desk. Your teacher's in the room, so let's just say at lunch. Okay, so nothing happened on Facebook this morning. Nothing, you have no notifications, no one said anything you remember. You've got, how many friends do you have about? Like 500, 600?
I don't know if I have that many.
300, 400?
Yeah, probably.
400 people had nothing interesting to say at all from the time you checked it last night to the time you said this morning. By the way, I think our generation is getting dumber because of that, but that's another story. 400 people had nothing to say when you woke up this morning, and yet you're already thinking about the next time. Well, I made you think about it, but you already know the next time that you'll be checking Facebook. Why? Praying that those 400 people have said something interesting, or liked a picture, or posted a video on your wall saying, I miss you, I love you, something, right? 400 people have nothing interesting to say. And when they do, it's about stupid things. I mean, let's be honest. Like 90% of the stuff we read on Facebook has no value whatsoever. If I get one more farm bill request, I'm going to go ape. Do you guys have a lot of farm bill requests in Kansas? I never put that together. Sorry, bad joke. So 400 people you've got friends with, right? You are friends with. And you check Facebook throughout the day hoping that one of them will say something interesting. At the same amount of time you invest in conversation with one of your closest friends, Becky. And we don't even know why. That's my point. We have no clue why we do it. We have no clue really why we're on Facebook to begin with, other than we like to stalk our friends and then look up our boyfriend's ex-girlfriends to make sure they haven't done anything stupid to try to get back with them. Right? Jenna, you know you've done it, right? Yeah. You know what the worst part is? When they have their profile completely private where you can't even see where they go to school. You're like, duh! One prettier than hers. Okay. We don't even know why we're on Facebook. We don't even know why we put the things we put on Facebook. We don't know why we read the things we read on Facebook. We can't remember the things we've read. We can't remember the things we've done. My wife puts pictures of dinner on there, and all of her mom friends like click like on it. Oh, I love the Alfredo you've made. It looks so creamy. What? Why? What about my Alfredo? I don't even care. Like, why would you share that with everyone we know? The thing is, though, that at the same time we protect it. We protect our right to be on Facebook. We protect the time we're on Facebook. We protect it by putting our phone under the desk and like glancing at it to see, because your phone went in the middle of chemistry and you got a notification. You have to see what Becky said because she's homesick. And what if she saw something on YouTube about kittens rolling out of bed like this? And I've got to see it. And so you get out in the middle class and look at it. Why? I mean, the point is why? And if you have no purpose for being on Facebook, and we don't even know why we're on Facebook other than to stalk our boyfriend's ex-girlfriends or to talk about our Alfredo sauce or to watch videos of kittens rolling out of bed, then what does it matter? So the challenge is then, if Facebook really has no purpose other than stalking people, then why not stalk people for good? Like 2 years ago. I had that friend, I wanted to know I could get with him, I stalked him. I mean, let's just call it what it is, let's be legit about it. I stalked a man. Whatever. I guess that's weird, don't tell my wife, okay? Let's just cut that part off. About me stalking men, don't say that, okay? The point is that if Facebook really has no purpose, if it has no purpose at all that we can recognize, and everyone's watching what we're doing, it's written in ink, it has the power to save a company or destroy a company. It has the power to make you know about something you never knew about. It has the power to talk about your Alfredo sauce and how all of your friends love it. It has the power to show some kitten from Montana waking up out of bed, and 4.3 million people watch this kitten get out of bed. If the whole tool is so powerful, and yet we have no purpose for it, then I would say, why don't we have a purpose? And I think that purpose is self-assigned. And so this is what I want to challenge you with. Everything you're writing on the internet, everything you're posting, all the pictures, all the video, give it purpose. Because one day, you'll be looking for a job. And middle schoolers, it may not be now, junior high, it may not be for a few years, but the point is that at some point you're going to be looking for a job. And an employer is going to look at what you're writing, an employer is going to look at what your friends are writing about you, they're going to look at the pictures you were tagged in at that party, spring break before, what? And it's going to matter. Facebook's not going away, the internet's not going away, social networking's not going away, cell phones aren't going away, none of it's going away, and so what you do now matters. My employees that I have now, this service that I was telling you about with Facebook, I can see everything they've posted, written, commented on, liked, everything, the whole gamut, since 2008, when they joined Facebook. It is now 2012. 4 years, okay? So these people I'm hiring right out of college, their entire college career is on this record that I have. Anything stupid they did, any pictures of them making mistakes, any videos at a frat party, any of that kind of stuff, I have a record of. The point is, if you don't know the point, give it a point. Use it for good. Start telling people about your leadership achievements. Start putting awards you're getting on high school. Start bragging about the fact that you're a good kid instead of bragging about the fact that you're a bad kid. Start having purpose. Start getting something done. Hey, here's an idea. Post a news story about something important. So when you go get a job at the supermarket, the store manager looks at your Facebook and they see that you actually care about the community. Use it for something good. I get paid, I won't tell you how much I get paid, but I get paid money, let's just say that, by big companies to get on Facebook, to get on Twitter, and to make them look good. And let me tell you something, I'm not that smart. I just know how to do it. And so I just want to encourage you, you guys are very smart, you're very capable. If I can do it, you can. So do it for yourself. Because I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, you may never regret the stupid things you put on Facebook, but I can guarantee you, you will never regret the good things you put on Facebook. That's it. Thanks, guys.